Finally, a common content assessment will be administered to all three classes. Alone, this quantitative data may not reveal specific connections to student engagement, but the data can be used in triangulation and in further experimentation. The force field analysis here is done on the action research itself rather than the future action plans. This research has not been put into practice yet. Some driving forces include the author's personal knowledge of the action research process, teacher passion and willingness to learn about the profession, supportive culture of data collection in the building, and the demographics of student population. And some restraining forces include lack of time and resources, lack of teacher or team support of the action plan, lack of administrative support of the action plan, and lack of classes available for study. Theoretically, the data collection and analysis could yield very good information regarding patterns and trends in what affects student engagement. The student questionnaires may reveal trends themselves. If the control responses do not change or improve, but there are changes in responses from other two groups, trends or correlations may be extrapolated. If groups show growth in personal reflection on engagement with class or content, that may indicate to researchers that there is a correlation between specific teaching strategies and student engagement. Similar trends displayed in the other data collection methods will indicate stronger correlations between these methods and student engagement. The individual student observation data should give researchers good quantitative data to analyze after the experiment concludes. This data could show strong correlation between student-centered learning and student engagement, or between increased OTR and positive feedback and student engagement, or both. The correlation could also be weak, or there could be no correlation at all. This would depend greatly on the number of minutes students are observed to be engaged, on task, or disengaged. If the research questions are to be supported, researchers would want to see the time engaged increase for student-centered learning group and the OTR positive feedback group, and not necessarily increase for the control group. The common assessment data alone may not show strong correlations or trends, but coupled with the other data collection methods may be supporting set of data to strengthen any conclusions the researchers make. For instance, if the data collection continually shows correlations between teaching methods and student engagement, correlations which are shown to be weak in the control group, and the test scores are higher for groups 2 and 3, then the conclusion may be that the engagement leads to higher student achievement. This would be a bold claim to make without further research and study, but the connection would surely be there. Finally, teacher documentation and interviews will shed another source of light on any correlations there may be between teaching methods and student engagement. Teachers can often see trends, patterns, and growth in their students throughout a school term. If teachers are documenting this process as they teach through the term, the trends will be even more obvious. There may be rich information regarding correlation between teacher actions and student engagement. It would be extremely valuable to compare the control group teacher perspective to the other two teachers' perspectives, because this would reveal stronger correlations, if correlations are there to be found in the first place. The foreseeable issue with this method of data collection would be teacher bias depending on the school and team climate. According to Metcalf, this can be mitigated through pre-experiment training of teachers on the action research process and training on unbiased data collection and analysis procedures. Based on what is observed from data collection, the future action plan can be solidified. Obviously, with these theoretical results, there are infinite possibilities for the future. Researchers will be standing with the same questions, and maybe more, if there are no observable trends or patterns in the data collected for any of the groups. This is unlikely, but a possibility. In this case, researchers may have to continue collecting data through another school term, with the option of changing the experiment slightly or retaining the procedure depending on the data collected. If there's a strong correlation between student-centered learning and student engagement, and a weak correlation between increased OTR and positive feedback and student engagement, the next steps would differ. There can be further experimentation done specifically in student-centered settings to specifically pinpoint what teachers can do to provide student-centered learning opportunities and maximize student engagement. If there's a strong correlation only between OTR and positive feedback and student engagement, and there's a lack of trend between student-centered learning and student engagement, then the focus will be shifted to increase OTR, positive feedback in many different settings. In this case, the next set of experiments could occur in several classrooms with teachers of differing styles, and results can be analyzed. After noticing a general lack of student engagement in a high school setting, there are some questions that are left unanswered from a research standpoint. Current research provides specific strategies and information about student engagement in class. Much of the information indicates that increasing student-centered learning and increasing OTR and positive feedback both may increase student engagement. There's a lack of information and research supporting a specific correlation or trend between teacher actions and student engagement. The research questions from this action research plan address these correlations. The triangulated results of student questionnaires, observations, a common assessment, and teacher reflections and interviews will aim to answer questions regarding the effect of student-centered learning, increased OTR, and positive feedback on student engagement. Personally, I have taken from this course a reinforcement of concepts I didn't even know I was using. According to Brighton and Moon, when I had the desire to immediately address issues I saw early in my teaching career, discussing them with my team, analyzing data, and making decisions for the future, I was taking part in action research. I have formalized the idea of action research as a professional educator through this course and have a better sense of research-based concepts. Furthermore, I feel more comfortable communicating the idea of action research and its proper steps to colleagues in the future. Being able to conduct valid, reliable research will help me communicate to colleagues about the power of action research. Emphasizing to fellow educators that they may already be taking part in the action research process is the first step to incorporating action research for the betterment of our teaching skills and our students' achievement. Sharing benefits as I have experienced them will also help educators teach more effectively and students achieve more than they thought possible. Some benefits include placing educators in pivotal roles of school improvement, shaping a school culture that makes changes based on data, and encouraging a culture of reflection and continual improvement.